Welcome students. In our previous class, we have studied the one of the searching methods or the searching techniques, which was based upon linear search, right? So linear search means we try to search the key element in a given set of array elements sequentially, that is one after the other, right? If the search is successful, then we say that the search is successful and the key element is found at the respective index position. The position of that particular search element will be the index value. Okay. Now, so there we have discussed that there can be a different methods that we can involve in while writing the program for the linear search. The first one which we looked upon was the iterative program, wherein we had only a main function. Right. In the main function, we had a for loop, and using that particular for loop, we could able to find out whether the element is present or not. Right. Now, using the same iterative method, we can also involve the user-defined function. The one which we have studied in the previous class was without using the user-defined function. That means there was only a main function present in that. Now, we will try to rewrite the code such a way that we will involve a user-defined function, but in a iterative method itself. Okay. Now, the concept already we are aware about, but only we will try to look upon the tracing of the program in this particular session. And later that we will move on to the recursive program as well. Okay. So here, C program, we are writing to search the element in an array using the sequential, that is linear search, iterative method, but using the user-defined function. That means we need to have a user-defined function. So here in the line number 8, we have declared or we have written the prototype of our user-defined function, right? Name of the function is what? Linear search. It returns an integer value and it accepts 3 parameters or 3 arguments. The first one is integer array. Second and third are integer variables. We will look upon later what these array and what these 2 integer variables are. Okay. Now, then followed by we have a main function. In the main function, the first these lines are exactly similar to what we have studied in our previous class. So first couple of statements declares the variables, arrays, and then system clear will just clear the screen on the terminal. And then we request user to enter the number of elements that he or she wants to store in the array. And then we read those many elements or the key element. We read those many elements and store it into the respective array. And then we request or we ask user to enter the key element that has to be searched. And then we store it to a variable key. Now, the change is here. The main function in this doesn't try to search. Rather, we will call the linear search function, which is a user-defined function, right? And if you have looked into the prototype, it requires 3 parameters. That means at the time of calling the function, we need to pass 3 parameters to it. The first one was what? The array, that is A here. A indicates it is an array. The second integer variable is the n, that n is nothing but the number of elements that are stored in the array. And third is the key element that we are going to search for. So these 3 parameters we will pass to the user-defined function by the name linear search. And once this linear search performs its actions, its task, then it is going to return some value. That value is of the type integer. So here we have taken one more variable by the name POS. We can call it to be a position. So this position indicates if the element is present, then this position will have the index of that particular key element which we are searching for. If not, if in case the search is unsuccessful, then this position will have -1 value. That will be again returned by the linear search. So here, the linear search is going to return either a negative number that is -1 or any other positive number that is starting from 0 to the n-1 value. If search is successful, that index will be returned. Otherwise, it will return a -1. So we are trying to handle that part in this case. So if the position value, if it contains a -1, that means the search is unsuccessful. Otherwise, we display the search successful message and then that particular position where it is present. The location we will print it here. Okay, now as per the tracing, once the control reaches to line number 25, okay, the right hand side of the assignment operator, that is the function call to the linear search, will get executed. So from here, the control will move on to the its definition. So here is the definition of the linear search function which we have written here. Since it is taking 3 parameters, so we have written 3 parameters here. First one is an array of integer data type. Second one is a variable n of integer data type. Third is the key, that is also again an integer data type. And it is going to, that is linear search is going to return an integer value. So the return type is integer. Okay, so once the control is passed on to this, these statements will get executed based upon the what values we have assigned for. Let us try to trace this particular code here. Now, here I have taken the example, in this particular example, the value of n to be 6, that is 6 numbers or 6 elements are there in the array. The key element which we are going to search for is 20. In this case, we don't require a flag. So let me remove that particular flag variable. And I also believe that I have not declared flag here. Yes. Instead, I have a position, right? So let me have one more variable, that is position here. At present, it is not having any value assigned to it. Okay. Then, now, let's pay attention to these 4 lines which are written inside the linear search user-defined function. In order to make it easy for the tracing, for the for loop, the first part, that is I equal to 0. So here is it is I equal to 0, that is initial value. That 0 I can write it over here. And then the condition I less than n. So I less than is written in this on the second column. If this condition is true, so it is going to execute with the next line, that is if statement. So if a of I is equals to key, that is written in the next column. And if this particular condition is true, then it executes return I statement. So return I statement is populated in this particular column. Okay. And then I plus plus is here. And once this for loop gets terminated, then it is going to execute the last statement, that is return -1. So this return -1 is written here. Okay. Now let us try to trace with these set of values where the 6 elements, those are 5, 50, 20, 50, 25, and 10, and the respective index values. And the key element which we are going to search here is 20. Okay. Now, for the first iteration, I becomes 0, that because it is initialized with the 0 value. Then 0 less than 6, condition is true, it will enter into the for loop. Inside the for loop, first statement itself is a if condition. Again, there is a condition that has to be evaluated. Condition is a of I is 0, a of 0 is 5. So now is 5, is it equals to the key element, that is 20? No, it is not equal to, that means condition is false. Since condition become false, this return I will not get executed. So this statement will not get executed. It will move on to the I plus plus. So I plus plus means that is 0 plus plus. The next iteration, the I value will become what? 1. It becomes 1 here. Then next, 1 less than 6, condition is true. And then the element at index 1, that is a of 1, is 50. Is this 50 equals to 20? No, it is not. Condition still it is false. Then return statement, that return I will not get executed. Next, I plus plus, that is 1 plus plus. That means for the next iteration, value of I becomes 2. Then 2 less than 6, condition is true, right? Then at index 2, that is a of 2, we have the value as 20, right? So now is 20 equals to 20, that will be checked as part of if condition. Now the condition becomes true. That means this particular condition becomes true. Since it is true, it will enter into its true block, that is return I. So now return I statement will be executed. So return I means what? The return statement, what it does, its function is whenever a return statement is executed, the control will go back to the function which has been called by which has been called this particular linear search. Now in this case, the linear search was called by whom? It was called by the main function at this particular line. So now the control will go back to the main function since it is returning from its function definition. But at the time of returning, what it is returning? It is returning I value. What is I value here? I value is 2. So now return 2 will be executed. So 2 will get returned. Where? It will get returned at this particular statement. Since it returns, I++ will not execute. Neither the next statement, that is returnable, is going to be executed. We know that only once the return statement will be executed. Here, even though it is present at 2 places, first this statement is getting executed, return statement. That means the value 2 will be returned back to the main function. So when it returns back to the main function, that means here this particular function call will get replaced with whatever the function has been returned. Since it is returning 2, means it becomes like POS, that is position equals to 2. Position equals to 2. Now the variable position is having the value 2 here. The position is having value 2 here. Okay, now the next statements are if position is equals to -1. No, it is not equals to -1 because position contains 2. So this if condition becomes false. Then it will enter into the else block. In the else block, in this case, search successful and the element is found at position 2. Is that true here? The key value is 20 and 20 is present in this particular array. And what is the index value of that? It is 2. That means the program is able to successfully search the element, the 20, and it is present at the position of the index value. Okay, now let us try to trace this program for another set of values where the key element doesn't exist. Let me make this particular key element as 200 in this case. The key element is 200, and accordingly, let us try to write our statements or try to trace the values. Okay, the key element is 200. When we call this particular function, okay, the key is having 200 and position is obviously nothing will be there at present. So let us try to trace here. So for the first time, I becomes 0, 0 less than 6 condition is true. Then A of I, that is this 5 equals to 200? No, it is false. Since it is false, the return statement will not get executed. Then I++ will get executed, that is 0++. Once 0++ happens, next iteration I becomes 1, 1 less than 6. Yes, condition is true. Now, at the index value 1, we have the element 50. So is this 50 equals to 200? No, it is not. So returns I will not get executed. 0 plus, that is 1++ will get executed. For the next iteration, it is 2, 2 less than 6, condition is true. At index 2, the element is 20, 20 equals to 200. No, it is false. The condition is false. Returns I will not get executed. 2++ will get executed. Then for the next loop, I becomes 3, 3 less than 6, condition is true. At index 3, the element is 50. Is this 50 equals to 200? No, it is false. Return I will not get executed. 3++ increment will happen. For the next iteration, I becomes 4. 4 less than 6, condition is true. At index 4, we have the element as 25. So 25, is it equals to 200? Again, condition is false. Return I will not get executed. 4++. For the next iteration, I becomes 5. 5 less than 6, condition is true. At index 5, we have the element to be 10. So is this 10 equals to 200? No, it is false. Return statement will not get executed. Then 5++. Next iteration, I becomes 6. Now 6 less than 6. Now here the condition becomes false. The while loop condition turns to be false. That means it will never proceed into its statement. So this statement will not get executed. Return I will not get executed, and also I++ will not get executed. But after coming out of the for loop, the next statement inside this particular function is return -1. So now return -1 will get executed. So it is going to return the -1 value. Right now, if you look at here, what has happened? The element which we are trying to search in the given array, it is not present. It has started. The loop has tried to search the key element from the first element till the last element, and nowhere it was able to successfully find it. That means throughout this particular loop, this return I never gets executed. So after the completion of the for loop, that is after it gets terminated, the next statement is return -1. Now in our main function, we have written the code such a way that if search is unsuccessful, I need to return, that is linear search, this particular user defined function need to return what? -1. So that -1 is being returned here. When this -1 is returned, what happens? It gets updated in the position, that is POS variable. So now this particular POS is having -1 value, right? Now, once it reaches, control comes back to the main function. The next set of statements are if and else. So in the if, the condition is this position, is it equals to -1? Yes, it is equals to -1. That means the search is unsuccessful. So the message is going to be search unsuccessful would be displayed and the program will get terminated. Now, let us try to execute this program by taking both these scenarios and see whether it is behaving as expected or not. Okay. How many elements? 6 elements, right? Now, the first element 10, 50, 20, 50, 30 and 40. These are not the same elements which I have taken in the explanation. Let it be. Okay, then next, enter the key to be searched. Now I enter it to be 20 here and press enter button. Now the message is search successful and element is found at position 2. So is that true? This is 0th position index, first position index, that is second position index. That means the key element which we are searching, it is present and it is present at the index 2. So the program is behaving correctly in case when the element we are searching is present. Let us re-execute the program once again, and this time let us enter the element which is not present in the array. Right? So the number of elements again, I will go with the 6, 10, 50, 20, then again 50, 30 and 40. And search element is 200. Enters. Now it says search is unsuccessful. In the linear search, what has happened in the user defined function? This 20 was trying to compare with the first element, next element up to the last element, from the first element to the last element, and nowhere the condition gets matched because this 200 is not present here, and at the end it was returning a -1 value. So search unsuccessful message is displayed. Okay, I hope the concept is understood, students. Here both these programs, that is the first one which we discussed in the previous class and this one, both are linear search and iterative programs only. The difference is in this one we don't have user defined function, but in this program we have the user defined function that tries to search the element. Okay, now in the next program here, we will look into the linear search only, but with respect to a recursive program. So recursive program means there will be definitely a user defined function, but that user defined function will be called by itself. The function call statement will be placed inside that particular user defined function only. Okay. In the third program, students, we are going to look upon the linear search, that is sequence search itself, but using the recursive functions. So we know already that recursive function means these functions will be called by themselves. Okay, now the function which we have defined here is recursive linear search. It is again going to take three parameters: integer array, the number of elements, and then key element that to be searched. Okay, then these set of lines remain same as we have discussed in the previous programs, wherein declare the variables, read the number of elements and those particular elements. Okay, that is how many numbers we want to store in the array, and then those many elements in the array, and then read also the key element that we are going to search for. Okay, now here the function recursive linear search will get called first time from the main function. When it is called, we are passing the array, number of elements, and the key element. Now let us jump onto the function here. Okay, now here, if you look into this particular linear search function, recursive function, we know that students, for the recursive functions, we need to have certain conditions. Those conditions will help us in providing the infinite recursiveness. That means at a certain stage, we need to stop the function to be infinitely calling itself. For that reason, here we have set certain conditions. The first one is what? If n is equals to 0. So what actually this n equal to 0 means is that whenever the number of elements are 0 in the array, we no need to search anything. Agree with me? Okay, let me repeat it once again. If the number of elements in the array are 0, that means array doesn't consist any of the element. And if we try to search any element, then obviously that element will not be present. So we return -1 in that. Okay, why we have this condition, you will come to know in a while. The second one, this set of statements, it is for the successful search. Successful search means if the key element, if it is present at a given location, that location is what actually here? n-1. n-1 means what? The last element, right? If the key element is the last element, then return that n-1 value, that is index value. If not, then we are once again calling the function under this return statement. Look at here, the return statement. What it says, call the function. This time when you call, first parameter is array itself, second one is n-1. That is number of elements, we reduce it by 1, and then the key element. Okay, now diagrammatically, if I just want to explain you what actually this means. Now, for the better explanation, here I have just taken only 3 elements. As I told you in the previous class, linear search means either we can linearly search from first element towards the last element, or even we can search from the last element towards the first element. Both are possible. Both are linear only. Both are sequentially only. Either we can start from the first element towards the last element, or else we can start from the last element towards the first element also. Okay, in the recursive program, first we try to check whether is this the last element is our key element. If so, well and good, the search is successful, return its index, that is n-1, right? When the number of elements are 3 and the third element itself is this element which we are looking for, then obviously that 3 minus 1, that is the index value, we will return. So the statements are written according to this. Now pay attention. For the next time when we call here the recursive function, we reduce or we decrement the n value by 1, right? So n becomes 2. Let me write here for the second time. Obviously, in this case, students, the key element is 50 and the last element, that is 20, both are not equal. So it will go into the else part. So now for the second time, when the recursion function is called, that time, if you look at the function call, the number of elements are going to be 1 less than the previous one. So what was the previous value we had? We had the previous value to be 3. Right now, for the second time when I call, so this function will get called with the n value as 2 here, with the n value as 2, right? So what I did actually was, I tried to first initially for the first time, there were 3 numbers, and the key element which we were searching, we tried to search with the last element. And we got to know that this is not the searching element or the key element. Then we need to search only that first 2 elements. So we need to exclude this last element from the next time when I search. So next time when I search, the number of elements are going to be 2 itself, right? So now recursive linear search, when it is called, so n is going to be 2. So n is equals to 2 here. And the key is going to be 500 itself, right? Now, so second time when it is called, the n becomes 2. So if condition here, is this n, is it 2 equal to 0? Condition is false. It will move on to the else if part. In the else if, a of n minus 1, n is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1. So at the index 1, the element is 50. So is this 50 is equal to 500, right? So if you look it carefully, we are only searching among these 2, and among these 2, last element is what? It is 50, right? Is this last element is the key element? No, right? That means it will fall under the else part, that is third one here. Again, third time we will call the function, and when we call this time, the number of element will be reduced by 1 again, right? So recursive search, linear search will be called, and the n value is going to be 2 minus 1, that is 1 here, right? So n becomes 1. So actually, if you carefully observe again, for the second time when we called, we had only 2 numbers. Last number is 50. So is this 50 equal to key, right? No. So what we did, we reduced the total number of elements by 1. We reduced it to 1 less. So now we have only 1 element in the array. That is only 1 element we need to search for. So for the third time, n is 1. So the first if condition is false. It moves to the else if. In the else if, is this n minus 1, that is 0th position, we have 5. Is this 5 equal to 500? No. So this condition is also false. Now again it will move on to the else if part. So in the else if part, so for the 4th time, we are going to call the function once again. So this time when it is called, the number of element will be reduced by 1. Already there is 1 element, so 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. What actually it means, for the 4th time when we call, the number of elements are 0. Means there are no elements in the array, and I'm trying to search 500 in that, right? So n is 0, and the key element is again 500. That means what actually? There are no elements in the array, and I'm trying to search 500. Definitely that element will not be present, right? So now if you carefully observe for the next time when the function is called, if n equals to 0, n is what? 0. So 0 is equals to 0, condition becomes true. And then we return minus 1. So we are going to return minus 1 here, right? So as I told you earlier, whenever we are writing the recursive functions, we have to write certain conditions that will stop the function to go into a infinite. So now this is helping us here, this particular condition, right? So we return minus 1. So minus 1 means what? The search is unsuccessful, isn't it? If we go back to our main function, once this return minus 1 is executed, so this will get replaced with what? Minus 1. So our position will be, the variable position will have minus 1. That will compare in this particular condition, and the condition becomes true, and we display search unsuccessful, right? So if you carefully observe in this recursion, the linear search, we start comparing the last element with the key element. If it is so, return the position, or else next time exclude this one, search within the previous elements. Again, the last element, if it is the key element, return the position, or else exclude this also from the next time search. Please search among these one. Keep on repeating this one until we reach to the first element. After first element also, then as the method says, we are reducing the number by 1, right? So the n value becomes 0. When it becomes 0 means conceptually there are no elements in the array and we're trying to search the element. Definitely that will not be present. So the program will show the result as search unsuccessful. Okay, so these are the 3 different programs that can be written based upon the linear search or the sequential search. Okay, now, for your point of examination, students, you have a journal program based upon this. The journal program under section A, write a C program to search for an element in an array using sequential search. As I said earlier, sequential search and linear search both are same. Okay, they are the 2 different names given. Okay, now for your point of examination and the lab program, the first one, right, without the main program, without the user defined function and without recursion, okay, this can be written as your journal program. Other 2 are the other way to write the sequential programs. You may get a question in a theory exam that they may ask you to write a recursive program for the linear search method or a sequential search method. In that case, this program will help you. So I will be sharing you all these 3 programs. So in the next lab, you can execute all these 3 programs and get the results. Okay, I hope the concept is understood, students. If there are any doubts, please get in touch with me. We will discuss it in the next class. Thank you, students.